still this curve of exponential growth of computing power is still going. So I think at some point we will have enough computing power. I also don't think we need enough to actually mimic the human brain. I think our human brains are pretty inefficient in the way they handle information. So we might even need a factor of 100 less.
Just a very high level question, but related to this, the difference between AI and consciousness in a way. So is your position that we just need to add more computing power and consciousness will emerge on its own, or do you think it's as suggested a different architecture or approach required?
Yeah, so
because
it's
the
really
reason why I'm asking is that your thing is to make it more intelligent.
Yes.
When are you still allowed to switch off the computer because you're done, and when are you killing something?
Are we going into Terminator mode now? Like
no, but I mean.
Yeah, so about consciousness, I'm no expert on this field at all. I'm just a guy making machine learning algorithms. But I think when we have computers like this that are a bit more complex, so this won't do it, this neural network won't do it, but as I described, things that have memory, things that understand context better, things that can interact with the world and learn, things that can make analogies and inferences based on the data, things that have more compartmentalized computation as well. Like we have one part that does one thing very well, for example moving, and another part does other things really well, logic. If you have all of that combined, then we might have an actual AI, like a very human-like AI. But we do need all of those components in a way to get there. This won't do it for sure.
So it's just a matter of time, basically, then.
In my idea, yes. Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting philosophical discussion we can have while drinking beers.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was wondering about the idea of strong memory and say the chess example, because I believe the Deep Blue in one of the last games that won against Kasparov didn't do any calculations or decision tree, but just had old books put into the system. And Kasparov in the 7th move made a mistake and then gave up. And he said, I didn't lose against a machine, I lost against a book.
Yep.
Like a strong memory.
Yeah.
But
it's really sad,
yeah. But that type of strong memory you couldn't combine with neural networks?
At the moment, so like I said, this neural Turing machine is making advances towards getting memory in that way working in neural networks. Right. Of course, you can input all the data that you have in a neural network in a way. It's not that easy, but you can somehow do it. But it's not like, oh wow, I have to remember this so I can make a decision. That's not really in there anymore, not yet anyway. Not to a very complex point that it works. The recurrent neural networks do have this recurrent memory, but it's not really that strong. So it fades away pretty quickly when you're training. Yeah.
A lot of examples you showed there from Google.
Yeah.
And we all know that also Facebook is working a lot on AI and Baidu. Do you think that AI will later be only in the hands of the corporations and that we will actually just like, because we don't have the data, we don't have the computing power, how should we train our networks if they have all the data?
So almost all the examples I've showed you, the code to make it is open source. The images are open source, you can access them anywhere, and computational power is expensive. But for example, at Scyfer we have a big server with like 2K80 graphics cards in it, and it can train all of these models that Google is training on our server as well. That's not really an issue. So I think because everything, at the moment it varies, everything's open source, everything's published, everything is being pushed by academia, I don't fear that only the bigger companies will have this intelligence.
But the data is crucial. It's not because you've got the algorithm that you will make it.
Yeah.
Without the data, you cannot do it.
Yeah, that might be a problem. So for example, Facebook, they have a lot of user data, but we have no way of accessing that, naturally. So that might be really difficult, yeah. It's kind of a currency data, right? So if you have an insurance company, the insurance company could do better than other insurance companies because it has a lot more data about its customers and about interactions with the customers. So in that way, yeah, data is becoming more and more a currency as well, and more power in a way. But for now, at the very different examples and the stuff I've showed you, it's still completely open and free for everybody.
What you also see that corporations use, for example, Kaggle, to give data because it's cheaper to let the world tackle the data than do it themselves.
Yeah, that's outsourcing the modeling. Yeah.
I think also for the beer, but just one point on that. I think one of the
also for the beer
later to discuss it further.
Okay.
But I mean, it's more about the fact. One is the data, right? Who has the data? Group is certainly. But the other thing is also who has the expertise and the experts playing with it. And what you can see is that, especially for deep learning research, is moving away from academia to private research institutes or companies, right?
Yeah.
And I say this myself, being half in academia, half in industry. So, but that's, I think, the danger that this kind of expertise ends up with a few big companies.
Yeah, that's why I'm really happy that most of this stuff is still being open source and being thrown out to the world. And I think exactly at that point when that doesn't happen anymore, then things might become a little bit scary and we'll get into this algorithm war between the bigger companies. Yeah.
So stay in academia.
Now with Scyfer as well, like as a company, we try to bridge that gap. Like we try to bring all the academia stuff into business and also business propositions back to academia to work together on it.
How do the business people react to that?
Afraid. Yeah, but, okay, we can discuss that later.
Lots of beers.
Lots of, yeah, lots of beers.
We'll get the secrets of Scyfer.
No, it is scary. Like what is scary is that at some point humans can do, algorithms can do human tasks better than a human can do it. So at the Dutch Road Services, the ANWB, we made an algorithm that predicts car breakdowns in 33 regions in the Netherlands for each half an hour. And there was a team of people doing that. There's 4 people in the road services doing these predictions. And we came in, and after 2 months of crunching the data, we did it better than they did. And yeah, then you get issues with people and social thingies and management stuff. But
And unemployment.
yeah, that happens.
Computers are better at
Sorry?
computers are better at speed, right? But then when you get into some complex things, it's catchy.
Yeah. It's like an industrial revolution, right? Like 60, around 80 years ago. We certainly got factories and stuff like that replaced factory workers. I think also a lot of intelligent work will be taken over by computers.
The last thing is doing that. I talked to someone they said they're not firing, but they're replacing 5,000 people, putting them elsewhere.
Yeah.
But they're hiring, they want to hire 1,500 data scientists and they don't know where they get them from.
The move between the professions, it's structural moves.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So we need more data scientists.
Yeah, okay.
One last question is, do you think we have already all algorithms that we need? Is it now just about adding bigger, making bigger and bigger networks? Or do you think we need some, because what we see also from the 80s when backpropagation was invented, it's still used.
Yeah.
And nothing much changed, to a great extent actually.
Yeah,
With some fine tuning. So do you think we have already all the algorithms? It's just about adding more computation power, more data and deeper networks?
It's really about making these algorithms themselves better, more intelligent, better aware of what they're doing. Like, I can give you a very small example. Like, if you use convolutional neural networks, there are networks that you find certain filters, and each filter gets drawn over the whole image to figure out if a filter matches the image. So you can say, for example, I have a filter of a face, take it over the whole image, and then wherever a face pops up, then it gives a good response. So, here's a face. But the algorithms that are trained now, for example, they're really inefficient with doing this. Sometimes if you train these filters, and it learns this by itself, you'll find 6 of the same filter. Because it has no idea that it should only find one, and then compress the rest into that thing. So that's something that doesn't happen yet. It's a very easy example of what it should be doing, but it isn't. But also it's not location aware, like it doesn't care where something is, as long as it's in the image. It doesn't care about the relations between these objects and these filters. There's a lot of things that it doesn't do yet and it should be doing, and that we can't capture in the current structure, I think. We need way better algorithms. Perhaps it's based on the same thing, perhaps it's still based on deep learning, but we need to approach it in different ways in order to capture actual intelligence, I think. Yeah.
Is neural networks the end then, or will there be something better than neural networks?
The end of all humanity, for sure. No, I don't know.
There's nothing
Question
that
mark.
you are aware of.
At the moment, no.
Are we done?
Shall we,
One
you
more,
guys can continue, yeah?
one short thing. Jente wants to make a small announcement. He has an internship, an AI internship. His company just wants to tell about it.
Yuri is also going to go, so we had...
Yeah, just bring one slide, but you go on.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sorry. Just very brief. Hello, my name is Jelte. I'm founder of Leer Unique, which is a learning intelligence company for elementary education. And this summer we're going to launch a project where we're going to predict children who are going to struggle with language. And we have a data set of a couple of million data points of 130 kids who've been working throughout the whole year in public schools. And so we're having a sort of competition slash internship where we invite people who care about education, find language interesting, and who have AI machine learning background to crunch this. Feel free to drop me a note if you're interested in this or if you know anyone who could do it. And we may have some funding if you are from a scientific background and need to convince a professor it's useful the work you're doing.
Have you thought about Kaggle?
Sorry?
Have you thought about using Kaggle?
We have we now have data ready, so we are ready to start playing with it.
When's the exact, like when do you think you're going to start?
We start mid-July and we run to the end of August. But this is very
Cool, great.
Thank you, Marcus.
So I hope some smart guys will come up and help the children to learn it. I think it's a good goal actually. You're about the robots, right?
Yeah, the robots, yeah.
Yes.
But beforehand, I just want to thank you so much.
Yeah, it
Like
was
you
an
can
awesome
see,
talk.
You got all our juices going. We're so excited and inspired. It was really great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming.
Wait. We have this open.
You got it? Okay, just very quickly, I'd just like to make you aware of this is 2 minutes of an event that we are hosting in as part of the Uprise Festival, which is a startup festival. Robots to the Rescue. That's on the 24th and the 26th of September. And as part of this, is this the slide? Yeah. Well, it's a combination of artificial robotics, IoT, and artificial intelligence. So we have at the event itself, we bring in 70 hackers, coders, designers, developers together for 2 days. So we have a hackerspace. We work with Watson on the cognitive computing side. We'll have various robotics, hopefully also Pepper, the Now, the RoboKind, a couple of robotics. And we'll have the whole room fully hyper-connected in a way that it's going to be full of sensors. So we'll have, at one end we'll have passive sensors, and we'll have the active sort of sensors as a robotics acting upon the kind of the ambient room. So that's it, and we have a future tech lab as well, which is open to everyone. We expect about 10,000 people, 200 startups, and 70 hackers. So maybe we will spark up some interest with some people, and I've already spoke to one guy over there who's studying robotics at the moment. So we're looking for quite specific type of people, and we will open up the registration in the next week or so. So I'll probably kind of send out a quick invite on this network if that's allowed.
Yeah, sure.
To sort of see if it's interesting for you. Yeah, that's it.
Spam everyone.
No, I'm not spamming. I'm just asking if that's okay. But that's it.
Yes, I have one question.
Will there be now butlers?
Is that again?
Will there be now butlers?
No, we don't know. We are focusing on the healthy aging side, so we don't focus on the hospitality side of things. It's predominantly focusing on. Yeah, well, you can try it. Maybe it's useful for an elderly. I can imagine it would be useful. Now we are very much focusing on the healthy aging, the problem that is going to arise. And that's also what you can see here. You know, the problem that we have, the biggest challenge that we have, what we face within the next 10 years, is the vergrijzing, the elderly coming, and the personal care that is not necessarily there. So we're not replacing it, but we're trying to support it. That's the challenge. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I want to thank Tijmen again. It was really awesome.
Yeah.
The talk was great, really inspiring. You also recorded it on video, so.
Really?
I didn't want to tell you.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for telling you, bro.
Your password.
So if you think it's fine, then I will put it on the meetup page.
Yeah, it's fine.
Share it with Reddit. So yeah, it was great. I hope you guys were inspired. I think deep learning is really the future about AI. I mean, we see it everywhere now, and we saw also now that it's really bringing in good successes. It will certainly change our future, and hopefully in a good way. I'm a bit afraid about the negativity that could emerge from that. But yeah, I think if it stays open source, if it stays in academia and in the hand of ourselves, then I think we can do great stuff. But yeah, we will probably postpone this then to the beers and the talk now, so that we can also have something to talk about. What I want to say is, the last meetup is now 6 months ago, and I don't know when I want to if I can do the next one in 3 months already, or if it also will be again 6 months, because it's difficult to find a sponsor. So now we had STL that helped us out, thanks to Tosha again, because it's about you need food and drinks and a space, because I cannot pay for all these things. I cannot even pay for one of those things. So
It's all coming out now.
for myself, but then it's you want the beer.
Living on the street.
So what I want to ask you is, if you also want to have this continue, then try to ask around, in your personal circle, if you know companies that would be willing to sponsor us, and great, perfect.
Yeah, but now I have a question.
Yeah.
Because now everyone's here. I come from Nijmegen and I could ask around, but probably more has to be in Arnhem or in Nijmegen. The question is whether people want to travel.
Yeah, I don't know what the demographics of the groups are.
Yeah, but
Who's coming from outside Amsterdam?
It's a minority. How far away from Amsterdam?
I'm from Sweden.
Yeah, okay, Sweden. That is an enthusiastic. Okay, but in general, I think probably the majority is in Amsterdam. But what we could do is we could eventually ask the meetup group and then see how people react. But in general, it would be fine. And what I also think about in the future is that we eventually can then bring more higher profile as speeches that, how do they say? So then they can a little bit ask money, and then we get in more speakers. Because this was now really, like Tijmen said, he does it for free, and they normally don't do it for free at Scyfer. So it was really a big honor. But more stuff. So yeah, I just ask around and let me know if you have something. The sponsorship is great, and they will also get in this half an hour commercial break at the beginning. I was happy that it was now related to AI, and if it could stay this way, that would be great. So that is at least a little bit in context. And then I hope that we can make a new meetup as soon as possible. Also, if you have cool ideas about what you want, because it's an AI group, it's not only about machine learning, it should be about AI in general, which is related to your question about this consciousness thing, which I'm also very interested in. Imagination, you brought it up. It's also quite interesting. Can these things have imagination, consciousness? I don't know, can you shut them off later on? So if you want to discuss about this, and if you know someone who can contribute a good talk, then just let me know. Maybe you know a professor or some other guy who has a lot of knowledge, or women, then just let me know, and then we will organize something together. Okay, now, Briggs.